Gothicism in the fall of the House of Usher. Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe was an American writer, poet, editor, and literary critic. Poe is best known for his poetry and short stories, particularly his tales of mystery and the macabre. He is widely regarded as a central figure of Romanticism in the United States and of American literature. Poe was one of the country's earliest practitioners of the short story and considered to be the inventor of the detective fiction genre, as well as a significant contributor to the emerging genre of science fiction. Poe was the first well-known American writer to earn a living through writing alone, resulting in a financially difficult life and career. He stands alone with his aesthetic taste and writing principle, engaged in the morbid theme of nightmare, death, crime, and evil. He adopts Gothic technique in a composition, taking a full advantage of Gothic subject matter, plot and elements, and lingering on violence, murder, insanity, and collapse. The Fall of the House of Usher is post-classical piece of this style. It presents terrifying atmosphere, the dark plot, and man's psychological terror to reveal the process of disintegration and annihilation of human mind, thus offering readers specific aesthetic perception through psychological shocks. The Fall of the House of Usher summary. An unnamed narrator arrives at the House of Usher, a very creepy mansion owned by his boyhood friend Roderick Usher. Roderick has been sick lately, afflicted by a disease of the mind, and wrote to his friend, our narrator, asking for help. The narrator spends some time admiring the awesomely spooky Usher edifice. While doing so, he explains that Roderick and his sister are the last of the Usher bloodline, and that the family is famous for its dedication to the arts, such as music, painting, literature, etc. Eventually, the narrator heads inside to see his friend. Roderick indeed appears to be a sick man. He suffers from an acuteness of the senses, or hypersensitivity to light, sound, taste, and tactile sensations. He feels that he will die of the fear he feels. He attributes part of his illness to the fact that his sister, Madeline, suffers from catalepsy, a sickness involving seizures, and will soon die, and part of it to the belief that his creepy house is sentient, that is able to perceive things, and has a great power over him. He hasn't left the mansion in years. The narrator tries to help him get his mind off all this death and gloom by poring over the literature, music, and art that Roderick so loves. It doesn't seem to help. As Roderick predicted, Madeline soon dies, at least we think so. All we know is that Roderick tells the narrator she is dead and that she appears to be dead when he looks at her. Of course, because of her catalepsy, she might just look like she is dead, post-seizure. Keep that in mind. At Roderick's request, the narrator helps him to entomb her body in one of the vaults underneath the mansion. While they do so, the narrator discovers that the two of them were twins and that they shared some sort of supernatural, probably extrasensory bond. About a week later, on a dark and stormy night, the narrator and Usher find themselves unable to sleep. They decide to pass away the scary night by reading a book. As the narrator reads the text aloud, all the sounds from the fictional story can be heard resounding from below the mansion. It doesn't take long for Usher to freak out. He jumps up and declares that they buried Madeline alive and that now she is coming back. Sure enough, the doors blow open and there stands a trembling, bloody Madeline. She throws herself at Usher, who falls to the floor and after violent agony dies along with her sister. The narrator flees. Outside, he watches the house of Usher crack into and sink into the dark, dank pool that lies before it. Gothic analysis. Gothic atmosphere is very important for representing its dark feature for Gothic tales. The traditional Gothic atmosphere is always located in ruined castles and abbeys, and has dark passages and stairwells echoing with howls, groans, and dripping charnel houses which come from the Gothic architecture, which bloomed in the 12th to 16th century. And the use of atmosphere is very simple, but the atmosphere emerged in Poe's works is diversity. In the fall of the House of Usher, the atmosphere is used extensively to do many things. The author uses it to convey ideas, effects, and images. It establishes a mood and foreshadows future events. Poe communicates truths about the character through atmosphere. Symbols are also used throughout to help understand the theme through the atmosphere. Poe creates an atmosphere in the reader's mind. He chooses every word in every sentence carefully to create a gloomy mood. For example, Usher's house, its windows, bricks, and dungeon are all used to make a dismal atmosphere. The white trunks of decayed trees, the black and lurid town, and the vacant eye-like windows contribute to the collective atmosphere of despair and anguish. This is done with the words black, lurid, decayed, and vacant. The narrator says that the Usher mansion had an atmosphere which had no affinity with the air of heaven. It was nowhere near being beautiful, holy, or clean. He uses descriptive words such as decayed, strange, peculiar, grey, mystic, gothic, pestilent, dull, and sluggish to create the atmosphere. Poe's meticulous choice of words creates a very effective atmosphere in the story. Through the atmosphere, Edgar Allan Poe is able to foreshadow events and reveal character traits. Although the reader may not notice all the numerous devices used, they contribute to giving the story depth. Noticed or not, Poe utilizes the atmosphere to its full capacity to create the mood, characters, and foreshadowing. Thank you.